Hi there, I'm Pat Stoetzer, and welcome to the CMSportsNet Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show. We covered the 2022-23 season to bring you the best games and moments from boys basketball, girls basketball, and wrestling. We talked to the top athletes and coaches from each sport, and we followed Carroll County's best teams all the way through the playoffs. Now it's time to take a look back at some of the highlights of the winter. We'll talk to the coaches of the county champion teams, and we'll unveil our choices for Player of the Year from each sport. Plus, we'll check in on how the winter sports teams fared at McDaniel College. So settle in as we bring you the CMSportsNet Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the CMSportsNet Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show. I'm joined by South Carroll Wrestling coach Anthony Winfield. Coach, thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
The Cavaliers dominated the mat this winter by capturing Carroll County and state dual meet championships, and they had a huge day at the Class 2A 1A state tournament. Before we get to South Carroll, though, let's weigh in with the rest of Carroll County's wrestling teams. Manchester Valley went 39-3 in dual meets this winter, led by two-time state champion Jake Boog. The Mavs went 5-1 against Carroll foes and crowned co-ed county champs in Braden Vandervoort, Travis Green, Boog, and Derek Martin. Girls county champs were Faith Day, Layla Lagunas, Summer Shackelford, Bella Canby, Chloe Schwang, and Katie Martin. Shackelford earned her fourth career county title, and Day went 21-0 en route to earning a state championship. Coach, Man Valley has been the top challenger for your team in recent years. What's it like going to battle with the Mavericks on the mat all the time?
It's a lot of fun. You know they're always going to bring a tough team, and it's always going to be a great environment. So it's always fun wrestling those guys. Do
your kids get up a little bit more for those? The county matches mean more, I know, as we get longer in the year. The state duels are a big deal, but Man Valley and you guys have been really close the last couple of years. I know you beat them convincingly this year, but does that mean a little more to them when it's time to wrestle Man Valley?
Yeah, we've sort of built that rivalry that's replaced that North Carroll, South Carroll rivalry, so it's been a lot of fun. The kids get real excited for it. We always know that they're going to bring a tough team, and you know when you're wrestling a tough team, you better be ready.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, let's get back to the other county teams here. Winners Mill went 3-3 in the county and 14-9 in dual meets. Chris Gang and Caleb Crouch were the state place winners on the co-ed side. Winners Mill finished 5th at the county tournament. The Falcons fielded a full girls squad and had county champions in Kamora Herod, Joyce Mbebo, and Roan McCauley. Westminster had 17 dual meet wins and went 2-4 in the county, and the Owls made history on the girls' side as well. Taylor Meade won the program's first girls' state championship, and heavyweight Randy Green posted a runner-up co-ed finish at the county tournament. Francis Scott Key reached a co-ed regional dual meet tourney final this winter and had 10 wins on the year, going 2-4 in county play. Patrick Mattingly was county tournament runner-up at 120 pounds. On the girls' side, the Eagles took control of the county tournament and placed first behind county champs Caroline Cruikshank, Kiara Cooper, Mackenzie Kuhn, and Emily Arboleta. Adeline Crakes reached the state final at 145 pounds. Coach Winfield, the rise of girls wrestling in Carroll County definitely evident all across the board. You guys had your first state place winner and your first county champion in Bella Garrity, who wrestled on both sides, co-ed and girls. How does it make you feel to see that success? And you can obviously talk about Bella and the success she had this year.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. This was our first year having a girl wrestler, and for her to go out and win a county championship, a regional championship, and then also become our first girl state placer was just awesome to see. And like you said, she wrestled a lot on the varsity co-ed side and won quite a bit of matches there. So it was just tremendous to watch her.
Big confidence boost, I would assume, for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into it here. Liberty crowned a co-ed county champ in Dylan Oler at 132 pounds, and the Lions went 18-10 in duels and 2-4 in Carroll County. Oler placed second at the 2A 1A North tournament and was one of 4 Lions to qualify for the state tournament. Century finished with 17 dual wins and went 1-5 against county foes. The Knights featured senior Nick Ellis at 195 pounds. He placed second at counties, 4th at regionals, and reached the 3rd round of the consolation bracket at states for Class 2A 1A. Ellis and JT Ferguson won titles at the Francis Scott Key Holiday Wrestling Tournament. Now it's time to dive into your team's season, Coach. South Carroll won its first 29 duels of the season before hosting Mount St. Joe in one of the most anticipated matchups in recent years. The Cavaliers came up a little bit short, but rebounded with a second straight Class 1A state dual meet title. South Carroll then won the county tournament team title, and they earned 8 individual champions: Grayson Barnhill, Evan Owen, Jojo Gigliotti, Gage Owen, Michael Pizzuto, it's a long list, AZ Rodriguez, Rylan Moose, and Manny Rodriguez. Now, Gage Owen, Pizzuto, AZ Rodriguez, and Moose made history by each winning their 4th career county championship. The Cavs didn't slow down at states. They put 8 wrestlers into the finals, and they came away with 4 2A1A state champs: Gigliotti at 120, Pizzuto at 145, Rodriguez at 160, and Moose at 182. And Pizzuto and Rodriguez each won their 3rd career state title. That's a lot of words. We've run out of words to say how good this team has been all year. What was this ride like this winter for you guys?
It was a lot of fun. We knew coming into the season we had a lot of talent, and we wanted to challenge them. We wrestled tough teams throughout the season. We wanted to make sure that we had the toughest schedule for not just public schools, but the private schools, and to test these kids each and every match. And we did that, and they came up every single time and just continued to impress us. And the in-state, out-of-state, you wrestled teams out of state as well. What did that do for their confidence level and for your guys' ability to just keep rolling? Yeah, I mean, we wrestled the state runner-up from West Virginia 3 times, beat them 3 times, beat the state runner-up from Delaware, beat the state runner-up from Virginia, beat the 3rd toughest team in Pennsylvania. So when you're going out of state and you're having that success, that's going to translate and just give you a ton of confidence. One of those tough teams you wrestled was Mount St. Joe, went right down to the wire. Can you go back, though, and recall the atmosphere in the gym? You had won 61 duels until then. They're one of the top private school teams in the state, if not the region. What was it like in the gym that night in Winfield? It was a lot of fun. It brought back some old memories of when we used to sell the gym out back in the day. And the environment was loud. It was fun. The kids had a lot of fun. We came up short, but it was just something for them to remember the rest of their lives. It was really special. And you mentioned to me, too, that, you learn from things like that. And I know the last couple of matches were forfeits, and you lost by double digits, but you had a 10-point lead in the middle of that match, and things go your way there. You change your philosophy at the end of that. But all in all, the experience that the kids got there, it's going to live with them for a long time, right? Yeah, and just the confidence they got from that. I mean, we were right there with the #1 overall team in the state. To know that we could compete with them, it boosted their confidence tremendously, and you could see that carry on through the rest of the season. Oh, no doubt about it, yeah. Speaking of the rest of the season, the buzz going around Showplace Arena a few weeks ago was how South Carroll may or may not have been the best public school team of all time. That's high praise, but you've been with them since November, and you assumed the head coaching job in February. You're a former South Carroll wrestler. You did some number crunching. I know you were going to do it. Could the Cavaliers be one of the best public school teams of all time? In my personal opinion, this is something that we've kind of kept in-house for a while, that we've talked about, but now the season's over. I think we are the best public school team ever. They no longer keep score at the state tournament. The previous record was 173 points. We scored 214. Had you scored it, it would have been 214. Had they scored it, yeah. Right. We had 8 finalists, which was a record. We had 4 champs, which tied a record. We beat the 2A state champs. We beat the 3A state champs and beat the 4A state champs at a tournament as well. So I think that kind of says our resume is pretty impressive. That's a stacked resume, and the numbers don't lie. Yeah. Coach, I appreciate your time here. Let's stay with the state tournament, though, for 1 minute. Carroll County showed out, of course, at Showplace Arena and made history on March 4th down in Upper Marlboro, both on the co-ed and the girls' side. That's a good deal of pride when you walk into that Showplace Arena and know you're from Carroll County. Is that correct? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows that Carroll County is a big hotbed for wrestling. So, when they wrestle somebody from Carroll County, they know they're going to be a tough opponent. Yeah, no doubt. Let's take a look then at how the state finals went for Carroll County's 7 state champions. The annual MPSSAA State Wrestling Championships came to a conclusion on Saturday, March 4th at Showplace Arena in Upper Marlboro. And Carroll County represented quite well, with 14 finalists between the girls and co-ed divisions. Carroll made history on the girls' side thanks to a pair of county wrestlers that ended the day with state championships. Manchester Valley Junior Faith Day faced Arundel's Josie Langtree in the 100-pound final. Day delighted the spectators by singing the national anthem ahead of the finals and then got to work on the mat. Day takes control of the match and posts a pin midway through the 3rd period. And she's the first female wrestler in Carroll history to win an official state title.
Day ends the season at 21-0 and shares an embrace with her dad, Greg, a state champ at Westminster High School back in the 1980s. Westminster junior Taylor Mead is in the 140-pound final against Colonel Richardson's Salida Nichols, and Mead goes for points right away. Mead leads Nichols 9-3 in the second period and secures the pin to give the Owls their first girls state champ. Mead finishes the year at 16-2 and gets a hug from assistant coach Chip Moladina. On the co-ed side, South Carroll had a whopping 8 wrestlers in the Class 2A, 1A state final matches. South Carroll freshman JoJo Gigliotti wrestles Boonesboro's sophomore Tanner Halling in the 2A, 1A 120-pound state final. Gigliotti muscles up and gets the first takedown of the bout. Gigliotti holds on to win 3-1 and captures his first state championship, and he finishes the season with a 48-2 record. South Carroll senior and University of Maryland commit Michael Pizzuto, going for a third career state title, meets Sparrows Point sophomore Russell Fari in the 2A 1A final at 145. Pizzuto gets the takedown and locks in the cradle. That's 1, 2, 3 state championships for Pizzuto, who finishes the season with a 46-3 record. At 160 pounds, it's South Carroll senior AJ Rodriguez versus Oakland Mills junior Joe Clark. Rodriguez scores big early on and takes command of the bout. Rodriguez leads from the jump, and it's all over with a takedown for a 20-5 technical fall victory. Give the Terps wrestling commit his third career state crown, and Rodriguez ends his season with a 47-2 record. Manchester Valley senior Jake Boog goes for his second straight 2A 1A state title and takes on Smithsburg's James Brashears at 170. Boog leads Brashears and lands a takedown, then muscles up for the pin to earn back-to-back championships. The Maverick senior finishes 50-2 and posts 4 pins at the state tourney. South Carroll senior Rylan Moose takes on Rising Sun junior Mason Testerman in the 182-pound final for 2A 1A. It's 2-2 after one period, but Moose isn't waiting around much longer. His strength is on display, and Moose gets his 4th pin of the tournament to win the state title. Moose finishes the season at 48-2. And his win gives Carroll County 7 individual state champs, 1 year after setting a county record with 6 champions in 2022. Once again, congrats to all the state champs. But we're not finishing with wrestling just yet. Let's send it over to Brandon Burkhardt as we get ready to unveil the CMSportsNet Wrestler of the Year. Brandon?
We've got 5 finalists for the CMSportsNet Wrestler of the Year award, all recent Class 2A 1A state champions. From Manchester Valley, we have senior Jake Boog, and from South Carroll, it's freshman JoJo Gigliotti, senior Rylan Moose, senior Michael Pizzuto, and senior AJ Rodriguez. Boog won his second state title in as many seasons and finished 50-2 with 35 pins at 170 pounds. Boog pinned Smithsburg's Michael Brashears in the third period to finish with 147 career wins. Gigliotti had quite the rookie season by going 48-2 and placing first at 120 pounds. Gigliotti edged Boonesboro's Tanner Halling to take the title, and he wound up with 35 pins. Moose claimed his first state championship by decking Rising Sun's Mason Testerman in the second period. Moose picked up 4 pins at states, finished 48-2 with 39 pins at 182 pounds with 135 career victories. Pizzuto earned a third career state crown when he pinned Sparrows Point's Brussels Ferry in the second period. Pizzuto, a Maryland commit, went 46-3 with 34 pins at 145 pounds, and he totaled 145 career wins. Rodriguez, another Terps commit, put together a technical fall win in the 160-pound final versus Oakland Mills junior Joe Clark. Rodriguez finished the year at 47-2 with 35 pins and capped his SC career with 150 victories. And this year's pick for CMSportsNet's Wrestler of the Year is South Carroll senior AJ Rodriguez. Pat recently went to Winfield to catch up with our Wrestler of the Year, so let's hear what AJ had to say.
CMSportsNet Wrestler of the Year, A.J. Rodriguez, senior at South Carroll High School. A.J. just finished off his third career state championship. A.J., I know the goal with coming into the States was to win, and you did that. Thinking back to it now, how pleased were you just how dominant you were in those 4 matches to cap your season like that and your career?
Yeah, I mean, these past few state tournaments, I obviously won, but I feel like I didn't really wrestle to my full potential. And this state tournament, I wanted to make a statement that I was the best wrestler in the arena, and I wanted to show everyone that I could, score some points.
2 tech falls in those 4 matches. As that state finals going on and you're in command from the start, do you start to kind of think about it? Oh, hey, as long as nothing crazy happens here, I'm a 3-time state champ.
I just kept wrestling until the end of the match. I mean, I didn't think I was going to go out there and tech Joe Clark in the finals. I just kept wrestling, scoring points, and ended in a tech fall. So.
How about the season you guys had overall, too? Again, dual meet state champions, undefeated all year, lost 1 to a private school, and a really good match at that. Did that give you a little sense of satisfaction knowing that everyone was coming back from last year, same goals, repeated state champs, and you guys got it done?
Yeah, I mean, us seniors this year had the goal to, put the toughest public school schedule for, South Carroll. And, we ended up losing to MSJ, but, give them all they can handle. We're a 1A school. They're the best team in the state for the past 5 years now, so I'm not disappointed in our performance there.
Yeah. And also, like, capping off again with the 1A duals title like you guys did. That was one of your goals, too, as well. I know you're not going to be a stranger to the program because your brothers are here, but you're heading off to Maryland. When does preparation start for that? I'm probably going to tell me all year long, but are you starting to gear up now to think about what lies ahead for you in college?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to get my body right, starting to lift, get back on a good diet and workout regimen for, Maryland. We head there up in June, so that's when we report. So
not that far from now. So
no.
What are you going to miss the most? A little bit of football, a little bit of wrestling at South Carroll. Definitely great careers in both. Do you favor one over the other? Which one's going to make you more bittersweet?
I'm going to miss football because, I like scoring touchdowns and, playing with my brothers is pretty cool, but I'm willing to let that go to wrestle at the next level.
Right. AJ, great season, great career. AJ Rodriguez, the CMSportsNet Wrestler of the Year. Back to you, Brandon.
Congratulations to South Carroll senior A.J. Rodriguez for earning CMSportsNet's Wrestler of the Year award. And let's go back to Pat for more of the Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show.
Thanks, Brandon. Coach, just a few quick thoughts about the impact that A.J. Rodriguez has had on South Carroll's program. He's played a lot of football and obviously a really good wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a tremendous athlete. He's all-state football, 3-time state champ in wrestling. If there wasn't the COVID year, potentially a 4-time state champ. He's just tremendous athlete, and just what he did for this team. I mean, he's a tremendous leader, comes in, works hard every day, sets the tone, gets the guys going, and that's all you can ask for. I mean, he's just a special wrestler in South Carolina history.
And walks the walk on the mat. I mean, There's never a time I can remember where I thought, this might be AJ might be the underdog here. That's saying something when you go out there every time knowing you're going to get those points.
Yeah, I mean, we just have the extreme confidence in him. He's very, very dominant, and we saw the way he went to the state tournament. We knew that every time he stepped on the mat that he was capable of doing something like that.
He sure did. Coach Anthony Winfield, I appreciate you spending some time with us here on the Wrap-Up Show. Up next, we shift focus to boys basketball, and Liberty coach Brian Tomes joins me in the studio. We've got plenty more to come, so stick around. The CMSportsNet Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show will be right back.
The Wrestler of the Year is sponsored by Genova's To Go. Locations in Westminster, Manchester, Hampstead, Hanover, and coming soon, Eldersburg. Genova's, pizza, pasta, subs, and more.
Skill, dedication, leadership. Just a few of the things it takes to be named CMSportsNet's Athlete of the Week. Each week, CMSportsNet recognizes an outstanding player for their contribution to their sport. Meet some of Carroll County student athletes and join us as we celebrate their performance, impact, and outstanding accomplishments. The CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week is sponsored by Genova's To Go. Locations in Westminster, Manchester, Hampstead, Hanover, and coming soon, Eldersburg. Genova's To Go. Pizza, pasta, subs, and more. Hey there, I'm Pat Stoetzer.
And I'm Michael Duffy. inviting you to join us for The Score and more.
It's our new podcast, and each week we'll talk about high school sports in Carroll County. We'll share information about upcoming games, highlight coaches and athletes, and much more.
We'll even try to have a little fun along the way. Don't miss the Score and More podcast presented by CMSportsNet.
The Score and More Sports podcast is available online at carrollmediacenter.org and on a variety of podcast channels.
To cover local high school sports, it takes staff and volunteers, equipment, training, and community support from people like you. You can help by making a donation to the Community Media Center today. Your gift is an investment in our community, our schools, and most of all, our student athletes. We want to expand our coverage to include both boys and girls sports, but we can't do it without your help. So please, make your donation today and help us bring high school sports to every screen in Carroll County.
Welcome back. Here with me now is Liberty boys basketball coach Brian Tomes. Coach, appreciate you joining us for the show.
Thank you.
We'll talk about your Lions here in a few minutes, but first, let's take a look at Carroll County's other boys basketball teams. Manchester Valley went 9-3 in county play, good for second place, and beat Century for the first time in school history, led by top scorer and all Carroll County Athletic League pick, Brendan Luddy. Luddy averaged 13.3 points per game, fifth best in the county, and was joined on the All-CCL first team by guard Xavier Bowman. Century went 17-7 and 8-4 in Carroll County, and the Knights played for the 2A West Region 1 final. Andrew Marcinko led the county in scoring at 21.8 points per game and added 3.5 assists. Ben Chenoweth added 12.3 points per game, and he joined Marcinko on the All-CCAL first team. Coach, we'll get into Century a little bit later on, but I've asked you this question before. I'll ask you right now. What is it about your guys' rivalry that brings out the best in each side? And I know you've got experience on both sides.
Yes. First of all, when you're a town that shares two high schools, these kids have grown up together. They've played together. George and I know each other really well. So when you throw all those things into it, there's just an atmosphere there that kids just compete at the highest level, Till that last whistle sounds, everybody's playing, giving everything they got. And, it's just we've been fortunate to have a lot of talent at the southern end of the county.
Yeah.
It's just a fun atmosphere, so the kids really get up for it, and they just enjoy competing against each other. So it's always a barn burner.
Yeah, always fun to watch. Let's get back into the rest of the county. Winters Mill went 6-6 against Carroll County opponents, and the Falcons won a 2A West playoff game before finishing at 9-15. They had 3 of the top 10 scorers in the county, led by Owen Case's 11.9 points per game. Case, Candy McPosse, and Dallas Johnson all landed on the All-CCAL second team. Westminster won 5 of its last 7 games, one of which was a 3A East playoff game, and went 10-14 this year. The Owls went 5-7 against Carroll and got 11 points and 3.5 steals per game from first-team All-County pick Chance Burns. The senior guard led the county in steals per game and added 3.5 assists as well, while Ja Donald grabbed the county best 9.3 rebounds per game. Coach, the Owls were one of the 2 teams that give you a county loss during the year. I know they didn't finish above 500, but does that just speak to the competition level in Carroll County? You're going to get everyone's A game almost every time out.
I think so. There's a lot of good players, in this county, and it just kind of shows the depth that our county puts out on a nightly basis, that if you don't bring your A game, you're going to struggle each and every night. So, while they might not have had a great record, they had some really good players, and Coach Burns did a great job, throwing some different defenses and things out there to keep you on your toes. So just a good, good thing for Carroll County.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get back into it now and get into South Carroll. South Carroll started slow at 1-9, but won 7 games the rest of the way and finished 4-8 in county play. All-CCAL first-team pick Owen Scott averaged 18.3 points per game, and that was second best in the county. Scott also picked up 2 steals per game, and Micah Puckett poured in 8.6 points per game. Francis Scott Key had quite the opposite year after making it to the 1A state quarters in 2022. The Eagles went winless during the regular season, but they did rebound to knock off Chesapeake Science Point in the playoffs. Jordan Fulmore scored 15 points and grabbed 6.1 rebounds per game and landed on the All-CCAL first team. Now it's time to talk about this year's Carroll County champions. Liberty finished 19-6. They won 11 in a row during the winter, and they went 10-2 in the Carroll County Athletic League for the Lions' first outright title since 2018. Senior Tyler Downs led the way with 17 points per game. That was third best in the county. And fellow guard Michael Tomes added 10.1 points and 2.6 assists. Liberty also got good work on the glass from Cam Hodges and Phil Sackett, who combined for 295 rebounds. Transfer Cole Jernigan, added 9.7 points per game, and Sackett went for 9.8. The Lions made it back to the state 2A quarterfinals before falling to Walkersville in that round of 8. Last year's team, similar success. What was different than this year's bunch to get you back to the quarterfinals again?
I think the experience. We had a lot of juniors playing last year, and it kind of gave them the experience and understanding of what it takes to be successful. So I think it was just a good group effort overall.
Yeah.
Obviously losing to Shane Stewart, someone with that much skill level, we did things a little differently. I thought we were a little more balanced, could score in different ways. We didn't have that one guy that was really going to break you down, but a lot of camaraderie between the guys, and they just did a good job together chemistry-wise.
You had one of the top scorers in the county, and senior Tyler Downs. How did you see his game grow this year? Because he was coming back as a bucket getter for you as well.
Correct. Yeah, Tyler's game grew, just understanding what types of shots and when he needed to. He didn't have to force a lot. He knew the ball was going to come back around to him on second touches.
Right.
But his ability to get to the basket, both right and left-handed, and we started posting up a little bit at the end of the year. So I think those areas in particular, outside of just his ability to shoot the ball, where he grew the most.
Yeah. We've asked this question for other coaches from time to time. I wanted to ask you this too. What was it like to being able to coach your son, and especially in his senior season? Fun to get with Michael on the court there too, right?
Fantastic. From a father's standpoint, it's extra time I get to spend with my kid, and an element that he really enjoys. So memories in that sense for me were fantastic.
Sure.
I guess you'd have to ask him if it was as great on the other side.
We'll get to that next time, right. Let's take a few minutes and talk about the Liberty Century rivalry. We had 3 more chapters in the all-time series, and you guys came out on top in the playoffs. What's the biggest difference in that game, as before we get to watch it, as you pulled away late?
I think tempo. I think we just got up and down the court extremely well. And I think our depth a little bit helped us in that mindset. In a game like that, 1 or 2 plays can start to separate you a little bit, and we kind of got going in that third quarter, but it's always going to be a battle, and I just think we were fortunate that we were able to pull away.
Let's see how they did it. Let's take a look at how Liberty cut down the nets and ousted their rivals to advance to the quarterfinals. Round 3 between Century and Liberty took place on Thursday, March 2nd, with the Class 2A West Region 1 boys basketball title on the line in Eldersburg, in front of a capacity crowd inside the Lions gymnasium. And it's the Lions who start strong. They're out to a 12-7 lead before Cole Jernigan spots up for a 3 that swishes the net. Liberty leads Century by 8 points. The Knights start cold, but pick it up here when Jackson Smith knocks down a tray. But Liberty closes the quarter up 22-10, thanks to Tyler Downs' fadeaway jumper. Century finds themselves down by 17 points early in the second quarter, but the rest of the half belongs to the Knights. Andrew Marcinko helps his team go on a huge run, and that includes his first 3-pointer of the contest. Marcinko scores off the inbounds play, and it's 32-28 with 2:10 to go in the first half. Century ends the quarter on a 26-7 run and leads 36-34 when Smith drains another 3-ball. Another classic in the making between the Knights and Lions. Peyton Conrad scores on a nice drive to the hoop, and Century leads 42-39 midway through the third. But Liberty has an answer at the other end, and Jernigan connects on another 3-pointer. We're tied at 42-42. After a missed free throw, Jake Winkles gets the ball near midcourt and does the rest to give Century a 1-point lead. It didn't feel like it at the time, but the Knights aren't going to have another lead the rest of the way. Century goes cold and Liberty connects on 4 free throws down the stretch, 2 here from Jernigan, to lead by 3 with 1 quarter to play. And what a fourth quarter for Liberty. Downs drains a 3 early, and the Lions lead is 50-44. The Knights offense is off kilter, and Liberty is poised to run away with this one. Jernigan gets the ball after a Phil Sackett rebound and goes to the hole for a three-point play. The Lions are up by 8 with 56-48. Downs takes over with 13 points in the fourth quarter, and when he scores here, Liberty has a 12-point lead with less than 3 minutes to go. Liberty outscores Century 26-12 in the final frame and wins 73-56 to repeat as regional champs. Now it's time to take a look at the finalists for CMSportsNet Boys Basketball Player of the Year, and Brandon Burkhardt will let us know the winner. Brandon?
We narrowed it down to 3 finalists for the CMSportsNet Boys Basketball Player of the Year award. From Liberty, it's senior guard Tyler Downs. From Century, we've got senior guard Andrew Marcinko. And lastly, from South Carroll, it's senior guard Owen Scott. Let's start with Downs, who led the county champion Lions in scoring with 17 points per game, 3rd best in Carroll County. Downs added 2.7 steals per game and went for 26 points in Liberty's regional final victory against Century. Marcinko helped the Knights to a 17-win season by leading the county in scoring at 21.8 points per game. He handed out 3.5 assists and shot 81% from the free throw line. Late in the season, Marcinko became the 4th player in Knights history to reach 1,000 career points. Scott was 2nd in the county in scoring at 18.3 points per game and helped South Carroll turn their season around after a 1-9 start. Scott added 2 steals per game and netted 28 points in a win over FSK. And the Player of the Year is, for a 2nd straight season, it's Century's Andrew Marcinko. Pat went down to Eldersburg recently to catch up with our Boys Basketball Player of the Year. Take a listen.
CMSportsNet Boys Basketball Player of the Year. 2nd year in a row, it's Andrew Marcinko, Century High School. Andrew led the Knights to the regional finals again this season. Andrew, I know coming off of last year, you knew you were coming back this year with a lot of talent on this team. What did you take it upon yourself personally to try to be the better teammate and also to help the team get better as coming off the county championship like you guys had last year?
Yeah, absolutely. I figured that I would be in more of a leadership role than I was last year. Last year we had guys like Brent and John who were just like glue guys and kept us together, and I figured I'd have to step up into their shoes, and me and Jake and Finn took over.
You had the scoring title this season. You also tried to distribute the ball. I know that's part of your game as well. Do you work a little more on that throughout the career and this season to be a better passer, better distributor? Because you know that the opposing defense is going to come at you strong, and sometimes it's that extra pass that leads to an offense. Is that something you kind of incorporate more in your game this year?
Yeah, after last year, I didn't realize how much teams would play me tight, so I was able to look at all the film from last year, and I was able to distribute to kids like Matthews and Chen and all my other teammates.
There was a lull in the season. You guys were struggling. You lost 4 in a row or something. Then from then on, it was 7 out of 8 until the very last game against a really tough Liberty team. What was the switch? What flipped there when you guys got things back going in the right direction?
The 4 games that we were losing because of points in the paint. It was just a ton of crazy scenarios at the end of the game that happened. We lost on a game winner, 2 game winners, and a buzzer beater. But we just had to refocus. We were getting down on ourselves, but we ended up refocusing and had a good season.
1,000 career points came along here at the end of the year. Maybe it's not something you were thinking about until it got there, but I find it impressive because there was also the COVID season where it was only 12 games. Did that factor in at all? Did you start to realize as you were getting closer, it's pretty nice feat to get that because not a lot of guys have done it here at Century, and you did it in a lot less games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I got injured in my sophomore year, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, well, how am I going to come back from this? And then in the middle of this season, I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, I'm kind of getting close, and then I finally hit it, and it was like a out-of-body experience, And
in the playoff game, too, no less, right? So, last thing, how do you feel like you've left your mark here at Century? A lot of great players have come before you. There'll be great players that come after you. You're right in there. Coach George Wonder called you one of the best here in program history. How do you feel like you've left your mark 4 years later?
I'm just glad I was able to influence a lot of the younger generation. After games, they'd always come up to me and stuff. And I feel like I've taught my fair share of lessons here, like what it's like to be face guarded every game and stuff like that. But I'm just glad I left a pretty good mark.
All right, Andrew, congratulations. Andrew Marcinko, Boys Basketball Player of the Year. Brandon?
Congratulations to Century senior Andrew Marcinko for earning yet another CMSportsNet Player of the Year. Back to you, Pat.
Thanks, Brandon. Coach, that's 2 Players of the Year POYs in a row for Andrew Marcinko. You're probably glad to see him graduate, but I know you have a lot of respect for him as well. Where does he stand in your eyes as some of the all-time greats that have come through the county, shooters and all that?
I mean, he's up there. I've been in the county now for 20 plus years, and he's one of the best guards I've seen in definitely in the last 10 to 15 years. His ability to shoot the ball, he can get to the basket. And his range is from anywhere across half court. So his confidence, I think, is what is probably his best attribute, just because he thinks he can make everything, and that just makes a kid really dangerous. But yeah, just a fantastic, athletic, good-sized guard. So happy for him.
Yeah. Brian Tomes, thanks for spending a lot of time with us here today, and congratulations again on another great season, back-to-back state quarterfinals.
Thank you.
We're going to stay with the hardwood and move over to girls basketball, and we'll get a visit from FSK coach TJ Devlin in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. The Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show is coming right back.
The Boys Basketball Player of the Year is sponsored by Genova's To Go. Locations in Westminster, Manchester, Hampstead, Hanover, and coming soon, Eldersburg. Genova's pizza, pasta, subs, and more.
Skill, dedication, leadership. Just a few of the things it takes to be named CMSportsNet's Athlete of the Week. Each week, CMSportsNet recognizes an outstanding player for their contribution to their sport. Meet some of Carroll County student athletes and join us as we celebrate their performance, impact, and outstanding accomplishments. The CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week is sponsored by Genova's To Go. Locations in Westminster, Manchester, Hampstead, Hanover, and coming soon, Eldersburg. Genova's To Go. Pizza, pasta, subs, and more. Hey there, I'm Pat Stoetzer.
And I'm Michael Duffy, inviting you to join us for The Score and more.
It's our new podcast, and each week we'll talk about high school sports in Carroll County. We'll share information about upcoming games, highlight coaches and athletes, and much more.
We'll even try to have a little fun along the way. Don't miss the Score and More podcast presented by CMSportsNet.
The Score and More Sports podcast is available online at carrollmediacenter.org and on a variety of podcast channels.
What does it take to cover local high school sports? It takes staff and volunteers, equipment, training, and community support from people like you. You can help by making a donation to the Community Media Center today. Your gift is an investment in our community, our schools, and most of all, our student athletes. We want to expand our coverage to include both boys and girls sports, but we can't do it without your help. So please, make your donation today and help us bring high school sports to every screen in Carroll County.
Welcome back. I'm here now with FSK girls basketball coach TJ Devlin, whose Eagles claimed the county title this winter. Coach, a pleasure to have you here with us.
Yeah, awesome being here. Thank you.
Before we dive into key successful season, let's go through what the other Carroll girls teams did this winter. Manchester Valley won 6 in a row to close out the regular season, then made it to a regional final before finishing in 19-5. The Mavericks went 9-3 in the county and were led by first-team All-CCL picks Carmea Bowman and Emma Penchik. Bowman and Penchik each averaged 10.1 points per game, and Penchik led Carroll County with 4.5 steals per game. Coach, the Mavs are the only team to give you a county loss this year. I wanted to ask, did they bring out the best in your girls both times you played because they were the reigning county champions?
Yeah, definitely, because, I talked to Heather a lot throughout the season, and when you look at them, they're 39-8 over the last 2 years, so, that's a pretty incredible team.
Yeah.
So. That first time, it was exciting for us because we kind of got over that hump of winning a good, tough game.
Right.
Then obviously they got their revenge on us at home back at Key. So, they're tough.
Yeah, well, we'll get back into them in a little bit here, but let's get back to the other county teams. Westminster had a solid season as the Owls posted a 17-6 record, and they went 8-4 in Carroll County Athletic League. They lost 2 starters during the year to an injury and an illness, but other players stepped in very well. Maddie Gassman averaged 8.8 points per game and 6.7 rebounds per game, and she earned first-team All-County honors. Liberty overcame a slow start and went 12-11 with a spot in the 2A state quarterfinals. The Lions won 6 of 7 down the stretch, and senior Jenna Liska led the way. She averaged 12.3 points per game, second best in the county, and she led Carroll County with 9 rebounds per game. And she also landed on the All-County first team. Coach Liska was a little bit of a problem for a lot of teams. This winter, what sort of challenge did she pose when you guys faced her, and then how you had to match up against her?
Yeah, she's definitely a game changer. So with Jenna, the one thing I always admired with her was just her aggression, and just she was always getting after it and 100% effort, and just that hunger and that desire to want to be good and be great, definitely carried her a lot of times.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, let's get back to it here and getting into South Carroll. South Carroll earned a regional playoff win and finished 9-14, 4-8 against Carroll County opponents. First-team All-County pick Shannon McTavish averaged 8.6 points and 7.9 rebounds, and Harley McKee added 8.8 points per game. Century featured the top scorer in Carroll County in Mia Graff, who averaged 13.6 points per game and added 7.2 rebounds per game. The Knights won 10 games this season and posted a 4-8 county record. Harley Hamlet pitched in with 10.6 points per game, and Graff earned first-team All-Carroll County honors. Winters Mill fell behind the rest of the county pack and couldn't quite keep up, finishing 4-19 and 2-10 in the CCAL. The Falcons did score wins over Liberty and South Carroll, and they got 7.3 points and 8.6 rebounds per game from second-team All-County pick Lauren Costello. All right, time to take a closer look at county champion Francis Scott Key. The Eagles won the CCL title, their first since 2019, with an 11-1 record, and they went 19-4 overall, losing in the playoffs to the eventual 1A state champion Pikesville. FSK started 10-0 in county play this winter. Key had 3 of the county's top 8 scorers in Drew Watkins at 10.9 points per game, Allie Mathias at 10.6, and Summer Brooks at 9.3. Brooks added 3.1 assists and grabbed 2.5 steals, and Mathias grabbed 8.5 rebounds. Coach, you led the 2019 team to a county title, the program's first since the 80s at the time. How does this year's team stack up to the one from 4 years ago?
I came into that position inheriting a senior-led group and well-coached, and so it was kind of awesome. I think 3 or 4 of the girls, 4 now went on to play college, with Savannah now at Delaware State. So we had a really good team that year, but this year's team was a little different just in a sense that my 5th year now, and I was able to kind of build it, so to speak. So that's kind of the excitement with it, and just the girls are just amazing. Honored to coach that group.
Yeah, it was a fun year for sure. You had a strong outside game with the likes of Allie Mathias, Caroline Core, and Raina Miller, and then you had Summer Brooks and Abby Rieger up front. How did this team gel? How did the team gel in that way where all 5 were able to come together with others off the bench as well?
Yeah, we talked a lot about how just you look at seniors through sophomores and just the mix that we had, we were able to put together. And it's funny because a lot of times we had a guy, Coach Adam from Lead 'em Up, he would come in and talk to us. When you look around professional leagues, it's kind of the same setup. You get veterans mixed with the rookie contract guys.
Right.
And that's kind of like where we were at, it just blended really well. And like I said, the girls I get to coach every day are just outstanding. So that helps.
I know the season ended a little bit quicker than you planned, but have the girls and yourself and the coaches have a chance to let a 19-4 record sink in? Again, you lost to the 1A state champs, but a really good season overall.
I mean, we had Pikesville circled since then, the last season. And they had us circled too, but it's just, with the, I don't know if it's really fully sank in. I mean, I know I had a rough 2 weeks there where you're just kind of thinking what ifs and this and that, but with spring sports that start so quickly, it kind of overlaps there a little bit. We just kind of had
some of your girls are off.
Some of them are right away going into lacrosse and track and tennis and softball. So, I mean, it's getting there.
It'll take some time to really see what you guys got accomplished.
For sure.
I understand, Well, I mentioned Manchester Valley earlier, Coach. The game at their place was one where you faced some adversity before rallying to win. What can you recall from that big victory that was that special? I know you fell behind early and had to come back and claw your way back into it.
Yeah, I think we got down with 16-2 at one point, and so all last season it was the whole talk of girls we just couldn't quite win those tough games, right? So we would beat the teams we should, and then we lost the teams we should, and then this year from the beginning it was, what are you going to do when it gets tough, and that was kind of that first time where we started really overcoming that adversity, and we started to like it because we started a trend where we would get down in some games, and but that was just that game that kind of put us over that hump.
So
You didn't like being down 16-2, though, right?
It was weird, yeah. I mean, I put a lot of trust in the girls,
Sure.
and I don't even think I remember calling a timeout to slow things down or anything. I think
Yeah.
we just kind of played through it, and girls grew up right there that
and
night.
it worked out.
So,
it worked out, yeah. Let's go back to January 9th then and see how the Eagles came back to defeat the reigning county champions. Manchester Valley hosted Francis Scott Key on Monday, January 9th in a battle for first place in the Carroll County Athletic League girls basketball standings, with the Mavericks trying to hand the Eagles their first county loss of the season. The Mavericks are on their way with a huge first quarter. Emma Penchik comes out for a three-pointer and connects, and the home team is up 6-0 early on. Man Valley is dominating. Carmea Bowman cleans up a missed shot on this putback, and the Mavericks are out to a 10-0 lead. Here's Bowman with a steal and a fast break the other way. She kisses it off the glass, and Manchester Valley ends the first quarter with a 16-2 lead. FSK gets its first field goal of the game early in the second quarter on this layup from Allie Mathias. Still, Man Valley leads 16-4. The Eagles get a little closer as the second quarter comes to a close. Drew Watkins scores on this putback, but FSK trails 21-12, and the visitors finish the first half with more turnovers than points. Key tries to claw back into the game. Here's an outlet pass from Abby Rieger to Summer Brooks, and the guard scores on the scoop. FSK down 23-17 and a timeout on the court. The Eagles save their best for the final quarter. Rieger spots up from the near side and drains this three-pointer. Manchester Valley's lead is down to 2 at 26-24. The Mavs extend their lead to 29-24 thanks to this baseline jumper from Aubrey Chopper with 5:20 to play. FSK responds. It's Caroline Core on a nice assist from Watkins. Eagles down 29-26 with 5 minutes to go. Francis Scott Key draws even 2 possessions later. Brooks from way downtown, and we're knotted up at 29-29 with 4 minutes remaining. Brooks comes up big again for the Eagles. She swipes a pass and heads the other way for the layup. FSK leads for the first time tonight. It's 31-30 with 2:20 to go. He essentially seals the deal on this inbounds play. Mathias gives it to Watkins, and she finds Core for the bucket and the foul. Core finishes the three-point play, and the Eagles lead 34-30 with 52 seconds to go. Final score is Francis Scott Key 40, Manchester Valley 30. The Eagles outscore the Mavericks 21-4 in the fourth quarter. Summer Brooks scores 15, and Drew Watkins nets 9 with 6 rebounds for Francis Scott Key. Still fun to watch, 21-4 in that fourth quarter. That's how you get it done. All right, it's time to see who came out on top as this year's CMSportsNet Girls Basketball Player of the Year. Once again, let's send it over to Brandon Burkhardt.
Thanks, Pat. We have 3 finalists for the CMSportsNet Girls Basketball Player of the Year. From Liberty, it's senior center Jenna Liska. From FSK, we have senior forward Allie Mathias. And lastly, from Man Valley, we have sophomore guard Emma Penchik. Liska overcame an injury early in the season to dominate the post for the Lions. She averaged 12.5 points per game and a county best 9 rebounds per game. And she also added 3.5 assists and 3.1 steals. Liska collected 19 points and 16 rebounds in Liberty's playoff win over South Carroll. Mathias was Francis Scott Key's anchor, and she averaged 10.6 points and 8.5 rebounds for the county champs. Mathias also added 2.2 blocks and 1.4 steals per game for the 19-4 Eagles. She posted a double-double with 16 points and 12 boards in a senior night win over Century. Penchik turned plenty of heads this winter as well. The speedy sophomore guard put up 10.1 points per game and led Carroll in steals at 4.5. Penchik totaled 16 points, 7 steals, and 6 assists in Man Valley's playoff victory against Westminster. And the Player of the Year this year is Francis Scott Key's Allie Mathias. Pat traveled to Uniontown recently to catch up with our Girls Basketball Player of the Year. So give it a listen.
The CMSportsNet Girls Basketball Player of the Year, Allie Mathias from Francis Scott Key. Allie's a senior, helped the Eagles win the county championship this season. Allie, when did you get a good idea that this team was going to be as good as it was, from the start of the season to the end, the way you guys dominated like you did?
Before tryouts even started, I knew this team had so much potential, and I think we really showed it, especially during counties. Throughout the whole year, we just really proved ourselves this year.
You were coming back, and a lot of the other players were as well, so there's a lot of returning talent on this team. It does take some time to gel, but it seemed like from the start you guys knew the goals, knew what you wanted to achieve. Is that just a factor of playing together for so long like you guys all have?
Yeah, we definitely, I think it also helped that we all knew our strengths, and we knew what players could step up to the plate at certain times, and also past years like JV and varsity have been so close, and we're just such a family that we don't really need that time during tryouts and beginning of the season to really know each other. We already come at the start of tryouts and practice.
The team right before you got to high school won a county title. How important was it for you to also get one of those? Because they didn't come before that 2019. They didn't come around all that long for Francis Scott Key, and maybe people thought, oh, that was just a fluke or whatever. But you guys were consistently good, improved as you went along. But how sweet was it to end your career with a county championship?
It was very good. We're trying, at least my 4 years being here, it's always been, the motto has always been, we're just Key. That's what we've heard around the county. That's, it's just an easy game to win if someone plays us. But we're just so much more than what we've shown, and I think it's just such a big goal for us these years to show that we're not just Key, we are Key.
You left your mark here at Key. What's next for you? What are your plans? Are you going to keep playing basketball, or how's the next phase for you going to be?
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing at McDaniel College. I'm very excited for the next 4 years to come. I'll still be showing my support around the school. But yeah, I just can't wait to see the future years of FSK history.
Well, Allie, congratulations on a great season and a great career. Allie Mathias, this year's CMSportsNet Girls Basketball Player of the Year. Back to you, Brandon.
Congratulations to FSK senior Allie Mathias for earning the CMSportsNet Player of the Year award. Now let's send it back over to Pat.
Thanks, Brandon. Allie Mathias, one of the more steady players around the county in girls hoops. Coach, what sort of mark does she leave on the program? Because I know it's a big one.
Yeah, she's part of that senior class, like a lot of senior class. The other ones too, where they've gone through a lot of adversity. Got their freshman or sophomore season cut short. Then they had the COVID year, where we got only 13 games, and then just that consistency, like you said. I mean, you knew going in every game, at least a double-double, potentially, and she was just very consistent, and the leadership grew as she got older. Her role changed, and the way she accepted some of those role changes was outstanding on her part, and she left a big mark, and some big shoes to fill for our underclassmen. I
was going to say, it's like you said a few minutes ago to me, the cupboard is not bare, and you're excited to get back into it. So, TJ, I appreciate you being with us this show, and congrats on a really great season.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. There's still more to come, though, on the Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show. We'll check in with the county's indoor track season, and for the first time, take a look at some of McDaniel College's winter sports teams. I know TJ will want to see that. That's coming up next, so stick around. The Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show will be coming right back.
The Girls Basketball Player of the Year is sponsored by Genova's To Go. Locations in Westminster, Manchester, Hampstead, Hanover, and coming soon, Eldersburg. Genova's, pizza, pasta, subs, and more.
Skill, dedication, leadership. Just a few of the things it takes to be named CM SportsNet's Athlete of the Week. Each week, CM SportsNet recognizes an outstanding player for their contribution to their sport. Meet some of Carroll County student athletes and join us as we celebrate their performance, impact, and outstanding accomplishments. The CMSportsNet Athlete of the Week is sponsored by Genova's To Go, locations in Westminster, Manchester, Hampstead, Hanover, and coming soon, Eldersburg. Genova's To Go, pizza, pasta, subs, and more.
Hey there, I'm Pat Stoetzer.
And I'm Michael Duffy, inviting you to join us for The Score and more.
It's our new podcast, and each week we'll talk about high school sports in Carroll County. We'll share information about upcoming games, highlight coaches and athletes, and much more.
We'll even try to have a little fun along the way. Don't miss the Score and More podcast presented by CMSportsNet.
The Score and More Sports podcast is available online at carrollmediacenter.org and on a variety of podcast channels.
What does it take to cover local high school sports? It takes staff and volunteers, equipment, training, and community support from people like you. You can help by making a donation to the Community Media Center today. Your gift is an investment in our community, our schools, and most of all, our student athletes. We want to expand our coverage to include both boys and girls sports, but we can't do it without your help. So please, make your donation today and help us bring high school sports to every screen in Carroll County.
No foul. Competing for a block, win, or in.
We're back, and we're not finished just yet. Carroll County saw its share of success during the indoor track season this winter, from county titles to gold medals at the state meet. Here to break it all down for us is CMSportsNet's Brandon Burkhardt.
Thanks, Pat. Carroll County had another successful indoor track season in 2022-23. Century's girls won the Carroll County team title by totaling 134 points January 28th at Hagerstown Community College. The Knights won their fourth county championship in as many years and held off Westminster for the crown. Isabella Mastrier won 3 gold medals at counties, and Century won 2 of the 3 relays on the day. Then, the Knights kept it going at the state championships last month at the Prince George's Sports and Learning Complex. Century placed second as a team at the Class 2A meet, led by state champion Elena Gifford in the 800 run. Gifford also ran a leg on the Knights 4x800 relay, along with Allison Limecooler, Emily Matraka, and Elizabeth Matraka. Francis Scott Key crowned a state champ when Ashley Porter took gold in the 1A high jump for the second year in a row. South Carroll had 1A success as well, with Delaney Freed winning the pole vault state title. Meanwhile, Lauren Chesney won the 300 dash and ran a leg on the Cavaliers 4x400 relay. Joining her on the relay squad were Ella Boyce, Brooke Prabulik, and AJ Dasalas. Westminster's Hannah Toth kept her outstanding senior year going by winning 3A state titles in the 800 and 1600 runs. Toth set a record in the 800 at the county meet in January after winning a 3A cross-country state title in the fall. On the boys' side, Manchester Valley repeated as team county champs as the Mavericks finished with 103.5 points and clipped Westminster to take the championship. The Mavs won the 4x400 relay, Logan Haynes took gold in the 55-meter dash, and Man Valley prevailed by 2 points in the team standings. Man Valley had a 3A state champ when the Mavericks won the 4x400 relay. Congrats to Quinn Favorite, Kai Chuang, Logan Haynes, and Christian Childs. Westminster's Lucas Michael earned a 3A state crown in the pole vault. Michael also ran distance races for the Owls and was on their 4x400 relay team. Liberty's boys came in the second overall for Class 2A and had Tyler Edson win the 500 and 800 meter along the way. Edson had a big day by also running on the line state champion 4x800 relay. Joining him were Gregory Schilling, Logan Seifert, and Ben Smith. Congratulations to all of Carroll County's indoor track state champions. Back to you, Pat.
Thanks, Brandon. Now let's move over to McDaniel College, where the Green Terror had standout efforts for men's basketball, women's basketball, and wrestling. The men's team went 8-16 this season and 4-14 in the Centennial Conference under Coach Kevin Curley. One of their wins came against Gettysburg, which finished 4th in conference play. The Terror were led by Charles Conti's 10.3 points per game, a top 20 mark in the Centennial Conference. And Century High School grad Carter Truby landed on the all-sportsmanship team for the season. Truby averaged 6.1 points per game and made 26 three-pointers. second most on the team. For women's basketball, Coach Kristen Gowan led the Green Terror to a 9-16 mark and 7-13 in the Centennial Conference. Leading the way was freshman Elena Beckett, who went for 14.3 points per game, third best in the conference, and the fifth best, 7.6 rebounds per game. Beckett earned second-team All-League honors. Josie Klingenberg, a Man Valley alum, led the league in assists per game at 4.6 and added 2.6 steals per game. On to wrestling, where it quickly became the Thomas Mon show for the Green Terror. The Centennial Conference's Wrestler of the Year became the first McDaniel freshman to earn NCAA All-America honors. He finished 36-3 at 149 pounds and was one of 4 Terror grapplers to win conference titles. Joining Mon were Alex Levesque at 165, Michael Bromley at 184, and Jaden Harris at 197. McDaniel finished runner-up at the conference championships for the first time since 2006. And that is going to do it for the CMSportsNet Winter Sports Wrap-Up Show. My thanks to our studio guests, South Carroll Wrestling coach Anthony Winfield, Liberty Boys basketball coach Brian Tomes, and FSK girls basketball coach TJ Devlin. Also, congrats to this year's Players of the Year. That's AJ Rodriguez for wrestling, Andrew Marcinko for boys hoops, and Ali Mathias for girls hoops. Please check out all of our high school coverage from the past season on cmsportsnet.com, Facebook, and YouTube, and on cable channel HD 1086. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next time.